Yo, 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 hello, how is everyone? It's the Banhammer Podcast and we are back once again after a massive hiatus.
Oh, definitely, we went away, but now we're back and we're gonna have some fun.
We have been meaning to be honest, yeah, it might have looked like we've given up and stuff, but no, we've not. One of the main things we've been after doing, we've made a video about this once, but I don't know whether we've
we made the
video,
video
put it up online,
and the footage is around, but
yeah,
it didn't get posted.
But essentially, there's been a plan all along for a long time for us to essentially get into recording gameplay footage and doing co-op sessions and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And we wanted to bring that up in this show, actually, talk about like what's happened to co-op gaming and hopefully bring that back and bring something a bit more visual, because so far all of our shows are just, they're missing that visual side, And I don't know, I personally, I want to continue doing some of the podcasts like this.
Oh yeah, the podcasts
maybe
cool.
shorten them down, because the problem has been the whole time, it's been like, we've got podcasts like an hour and 15.
I'm pretty sure we have one that's like 3 hours long that got split into two.
Yeah, the last episode got split into two, and that was like, if you put them together, you're talking parts 1 and 2 together are like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, definitely, man. But the
idea, I'm going to say
cut them
personally it's a
down.
bit much for YouTube, but yeah, sorry. Go on.
The genesis of this podcast is one for us to bring entertainment to you, but not so damn tediously long that you get halfway through and think I'm gonna die before this thing ends.
And fall asleep.
That's the point, so hopefully we're gonna squeeze them down a bit, same content, just as much, just in shorter episodes.
Okay, so taking it back to what we usually say at the beginning of a show, Levi, what have you been up to in the gaming world?
In the gaming world, well, what have I been up to is the same old of a combination of MMOs, fighting games, and MOBAs. Everything online and a little bit of Inquisition before the HDMI cable died on me. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. I went back and did it again.
Do you know the thing? Funny thing is,
to WoW.
I've actually got one of your HDMI cables.
Shit.
I'm kind of glad, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have got the Elgato working, which we'll discuss.
Yeah, we have got
later.
the Elgato working now.
Yeah, we'll go back to that soon.
So yeah.
But yeah, carry on.
But I resubbed to WoW. Again, I do it to myself all the bloody time. I love the game so much and I hate it at the same time. At the beginning, there used to be this massive sense of community. You had to do everything together. There were some mobs that you just couldn't handle solo. You'd get bitch slapped and you'd end up dead. Nowadays, face roll over everything. You get to the end of the game, or level 100, and you get a garrison, which is like your own instance kind of housing, if you get what I mean. It's like player housing in a way, where you control your own little army base, and you can pretty much play the game from there. The community's gone. I was sat there and I was like, well, this is sad. I mean, there was none of the whole sense of I've got to go out and find people, you're going to meet people, and that's where MMOs, you find your enjoyment in MMOs is the people. You go back for the people half the time, not because of the game. Yeah, the game's a good thing, but you go back for the people and the friends you make there. And nowadays, if you're on a dead server, there's no one there, and all the servers are cross-realm zones, are just cross-realming with people who either don't speak English and you don't speak their language. But
I can see that being
the sense of community is just no longer there. It's just a sad thing.
So, are you actually still subscribing? Are you?
I've got like 28 days. I do love the game. I love playing PvP.
You've been attached to that a while, because you mentioned that in previous shows a while ago. I remember you said you were thinking about giving it up, but you've not done.
I love the PvP. There's something about being good at your class and not throwing it in other people's faces as such, but it's like a sense of skill when it comes down to a one-on-one and you're playing your rogue or a monk in my case, and you've got some warrior going at you and you just completely outplay them. They pop die by the sword and you just chi torpedo away and then chi torpedo back when it's finished, destroy them, tiger eye brew, fist of fury, and bam, they're dead. So there's something to say for like mechanical skill and outplay, and it does. It's like the same reason you play fighting. I play fighting games. It's there's you, your opponent, and that's it. It's all down to either mind games, skill, and probably a very small element of luck.
It's a bit like poker then, really. You know.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. Cross between that and a beat 'em up.
Now that would be interesting.
Yeah.
Poker and fighting games. Someone get on that. Someone make me a game. Someone make
Poker
a game where
Street
it's
Fighter.
Street Fighter with poker in it. Because I'd play the hell out of that.
I'm gonna say Pokemon, but that sounds a little bit worrying.
Well. Lenny face. Anyway, but other than that, the last one was League of Legends, which no matter how many times I tried to give it up, I can't give it up. And 2,000 hours into playing the game, I probably won't give it up anymore. So yeah.
You said they changed the rules on that recently, or the system, and you were going to give up, but you managed to get around it. They reset everything. That's something.
Was at the end of every season, which ends around December, and then pre-season starts till January, and then the season starts at the end of January, or halfway through. Is in that short window they can change things, and they decided that the usual way of playing ranked, which was you queued up by yourself or with one other person, and if you queued up with somebody else, you have to. You didn't have to do anything. You had an innate advantage over playing with people playing by themselves. You had communication, normally through voice comms of a kind with the person you were playing with, but it scaled your matchmaking rating higher, so you had a penalty for playing with one of your friends in a ranked system.
Right, okay.
Now, unlike before where you queued up and you got given a role after how many people picked wherever you were in the draft, now you can queue up and pick 2 roles, which you will definitely get one of the choice, being top, mid, bottom, ADC, jungle and support. And the other thing is you can now queue with up to 5 people in a ranked system. Where there's a flaw there because a person who's only going to play with 5 other people he knows, should never have the same rank as a person who's going to queue by himself consistently. Because there's a massive disadvantage between 5 people and their communication skills and one person who's on his own and typing in chat.
Yeah.
There's a big issue. And the worst thing is that even though you have the 5 people, you're not penalised. By penalise, I mean, it doesn't bump your matchmaking rating up to, there's a word I'm looking for here. And shit, it's on the tip of my tongue as well. Damn it, you bastard. It doesn't it balances the scales in a way.
Yeah, handicap.
Like a handicap. It's the handicap for the other people by pushing you up a bit, so you're playing against people with more skill.
Yeah.
And you're making up for that skill with communication.
Yeah.
And they changed that, and it kind of feels like if you're not playing with other people, you're at an innate disadvantage.
Right.
Because you're playing by yourself and you've got no voice comms, you're not hearing these calls the other people are making. And when there's a middle of the fight and there's 10 people fighting each other on voice chat or TeamSpeak, they can be like, right, target this person and say it. In the middle of a fight, you can't just quickly type target so and so. It doesn't work like that. You can ping it, but it doesn't really work. So I got really pissed off with that. The fact that I was like, League has no competitive integrity anymore. Blah blah blah. Fuck you all. I'm playing Dota, and I didn't. I played Dota for a few games, and I came back like I always do. It's like that ex-girlfriend that you say you split up and you're like, we're done. We're never talking to each other again, and then one day you check Facebook and you've got a message and you're like, hey.
It's funny,
it starts
funny
again.
Like how we have similarities with our taste, but yet at the same time they differ so much. Like all this MOBA, whatever. Like I know nothing about these games. It's one thing I've yet to experience. I've not tried anything.
You have to, man.
But that's
so
mainly
good.
Down to me just never getting into PC gaming, and not being a console super
coming
fanboy.
out
It's just
on console now.
I find it much easier. I think it's just a way of, I've gone about gaming life in general.
Oh yeah.
I've not really had PC that's been bought specifically for gaming.
Yeah,
so I've always
definitely.
had something. It's always been music, so it's never really been. I needed something that's super powerful for graphics and stuff. And they sound interesting, but in terms of like what I've been up to,
Yeah, man, what have you been up to? Because to me, your way of gaming seems a lot more fun than my way of gaming.
The only thing is that it can be a bit more less social, and sometimes you feel a bit lonely on your own. But but at the same time, sometimes it's a good thing if you want to get absorbed into something. You don't want distractions. There are certain games where you want to be in that. You want to be on your own.
I think there's only one exception to that rule, which is Columns.
All right.
Columns is a game like Tetris, except 2 people can play, and you can get sucked in.
We will talk about again. This isn't something else. We'll get onto
God.
at some point. In the future. That's something I want to bring. To
We've
the show,
got to do
Columns.
so. We've
Yeah,
got to do a
you
gameplay on it.
ahead. But yeah, in general, with me, I think I might have mentioned Assassin's Creed in one of the previous podcasts.
Yeah, you did.
Last
You
one,
was
like, weeks ago.
I don't know which one it was you were playing, but you
I've
said
not
you
had
picked one
a
up.
massive opportunity to do a lot of gaming recently because we've been fairly busy with music, producing a lot of tracks and stuff in the studio and just work in general. But I was getting a bit fed up with Assassin's Creed 3. I love the game, I really do love the game, but it's sort of getting to the end of the game, and I put it on a bit of a pause for a bit and picked up one of the Tales games. I don't know if you heard of the Tales series before.
Vesperia was on 360. I know that much.
There's a lot of them. They've been going since sort of the 90s. They started with Tales of Fantasia, and that was on the Super Famicom. I don't think it got a release outside of Japan. And I did actually try a little bit of it on an emulator once, but it was Tales of Destiny that I played. That was one of my first ones. That came out in 2000. It was like when I didn't play it in 2000, but it was probably something like 2002, 3 or something like that. Back in uni, when I learned how to download ROMs and burn them to disk and play them on my chipped PS1. Those were the days. And it was a pretty cool overhead old school RPG where the battle system was sort of almost like a side-scrolling side-on view beat 'em up style, but you'd have a weapon. Kind of resembles, I don't know if you were aware of these sorts of games, but there's like what's it called, Odin Sphere, and one I know I've had a conversation with you about before, Valkyrie Profile.
Oh, Valkyrie Profile.
Yeah, they like the side-on sort of beat 'em up, but like each random battle would be sort of based around that. So,
yeah.
But this they've obviously progressed, and the one that I've played is just recently I picked up Tales of Xillia, which came out in 2011.
Xillia.
Yeah, it was. It was one of those impulse purchases.
Yeah.
On eBay, just like searching through, and I found it for about like £12 or something, like a day one edition or something. But it comes with a soundtrack CD and like a little art book as well, which is nothing amazing. But I thought, you know what, for the price,
Art books
a lot of those
amazing.
a lot of those games tend to go for like sort of a bit more, usually like 20, 25 or something. So I thought, and it was a decent condition. So I thought, you know what, it's been a while since I played a Japanese RPG. And I've only ever played one on the PS3 so far, and it's something that like I used to be massively into JRPGs. I've just kind of like been gone by the wayside for the last quite a few years now. But I mean, on one side, it's not just me that's had these thoughts. I've read about these, like other people with these mindsets online and stuff. How, I don't know what your thoughts on sort of Western versus Japanese in this day and age, with RPGs and stuff.
Well, Western versus JRPG. It comes to the idea of action RPG versus more depth in almost turn-based RPGs. The old Final Fantasies were always turn-based, and then I think it was around 7 when we got the active time bar.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of, they've done their own spin on that through till like 13, where it re-emerged again in a different system, but it was still similar to the time bar and all kinds of shit. And then the Western RPGs, off the top of my head, I don't play a lot of them. Like Skyrim I've played, and it's more of, they're more immersive in a way.
Yeah.
Immersive in a way is like you become the character you're playing. Your character doesn't have a given identity, it's what you make it.
Yeah.
Whereas in Japanese RPG, you're given a character and they do certain things. Springs to mind Disgaea. Lahal, he's the son of an overlord. And he's does just died. You're given a kind of background and a story, and that's what that character is. Whereas in the Fallout or Skyrim, it's like, this has happened, he doesn't remember who he is, or he's just been born into the world, he can be anybody, and then you can almost nurture that character into being some crazed psychopath or some really... I don't know.
Yeah, I tend to find a lot of Japanese games, they're much more sort of philosophical, more like spiritual, deeper, in terms of... Sometimes they can get a bit too...
They're not realistic as much as Western RPGs.
But I think what's happening with Western games, obviously, the in terms of the quality of the games, has got better. Whereas, like back in the past, especially in the 90s, this sort of cartoony, pixely look was in, and it was doing the rounds back then. And obviously, like realistic looking graphics, 3D and stuff was still relatively new. But as time's gone on, that's kind of anime, obviously influenced cartoony look has kind of taken a back seat, become more niche. Like, it's obviously I say niche, but like
it's got a giant bloody market.
Yeah. But do you know what I mean? But I mean, in terms of the everyday gamer,
the AAAs and the mainstream stuff has become more realistic. Definitely,
movies have become more influencing in the gaming scene as a whole. So, and games have tried to get more like Western movies sort of on that level, and they're kind of getting very close now.
Oh, like definitely.
And I think that's what's taking. They become a lot more serious, and it's so different from how it was back then. But I mean, that was. I'm not going to go on about Tales of Zillia because that's not what this show's actually about today. But maybe I'll have an in-depth discussion about that game at some point.
I've got to play it.
Quite interesting. I do want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But the main thing is, we want to keep these shows a bit shorter. So
definitely,
we just want a quick discussion about
couch
fucking
co-op.
And
where have you been all my life, or more or less, where have you gone for these past God knows how long? I mean, I'm pretty sure, right? One of the latest Halo games didn't have local co-op. It didn't come with local co-op. Oh, it came with online co-op, but local co-op was new.
What I was going to say, like...
What the fuck?
What's interesting is, because you're quite a bit younger than me, have you experienced a lot in terms of... Like, did you do that in the past? Is something you used to do?
Me and me dad. Now being a northerner. Me and me dad. My dad had a PS1. I would have been 6 or 7 around the time.
Yeah.
And the first game I ever played on the PlayStation 1...
PlayStation 1?
Was Mortal Kombat. With my dad.
See, I just got to put in, like, Levi's got this thing about accents and role-playing accents, so just don't be a bit concerned if his voice changes.
Me and my dad played Mortal Kombat. Now, at the time, I didn't know. I was only 6. I didn't know that the block button fucking existed. So we used to sit there
block button.
And chip me out with neutral jab. And I was like, what the fuck?
Is that what you call it, the block button?
The block button. There's a block button in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, right. The actual block button. I thought you meant like the square button. The block button. As a kid, I'm playing the block button. The square button.
It's the block button. It's not fucking square, it's a block. Don't tell me any different, I'll have you. But yeah, so that was my very first introduction to getting my ass absolutely kicked at a beat 'em up by my own father. My first introduction to couch co-op. But God, I loved it. It was this, wow, it's not reality, it's different, it's story, and I can kick the shit out of something and beat my dad at something. It was interesting, and it started off being Mortal Kombat, and then I went with my friends, and then...
I was going to say that, did you do much with like friends and that in the past?
The big one was Crash Team Racing on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
Every fucking day. If we had time, we'd play it.
Yeah.
The weekends, meet up, and it'd be Crash Team Racing, and who would win?
Right.
And after I moved on the PlayStation 2, it was more of the racing games. Crash Nitro Kart came to mind, because there was that And then it's kind of plateaued and ended on the PlayStation 3. When the PlayStation 3 first got released, Ridge Racer 7 came out, and that was the other game we all played co-op. And the early Call of Duties, we actually didn't mind playing co-op. It was
the split screen.
The split screen co-op, and yeah, if you got caught screen watching, you'd get a backhander.
Oh yeah, that was
you don't do that shit.
The classic rule.
It's just wrong. So
I'm sure I read a story about this recently. Someone said the exact same thing. Like I was reading an article or something.
There was 3 of us, so that mean 2 of you was on shipment on Call of Duty 4, and you had the 1v1. And the other person refereed, and if you got caught screen watching, bang, don't do it again.
Yeah, it was on this forum I used on Realmuck. Like someone mentioned, I remember reading. It was only like I don't know, like a couple of months ago. I remember reading. I think it was GoldenEye, and someone said, yeah, they got a dead arm whenever they like got caught looking.
Oh,
at the other
definitely.
screen.
And if you played Odd Job in GoldenEye, that was it. You weren't playing no more.
But you have done it. I was just curious because a lot of younger people won't have experienced this.
It's all online now,
and it's good, really. I'm kind of glad because I wasn't 100% sure like what your background was on that. I mean, obviously, me being older, it started with me back years ago on the sort of Master System, and especially on the Mega Drive, because when the Mega Drive came out, well, it'd been out for a while actually, but like back in about, I think it was around '94. I mean, I must have been 11, and it was on my 11th birthday that there was a local newsagents, and they used to hire out Mega Drives, and you could hire out games as well. And I had a party, and it was like a gaming party. And
I approve.
We went to the shop. We hired out a couple of Mega Drives.
Yeah.
Hired out a bunch of games. I had an Atari ST at the time. That was a bit like an Amiga. It's like the what you would class as the PC of the day, but the PCs themselves were fairly crap for games, you know. But they until they got much better. It used to be like all about the Amiga, and the sort of ST were better. I mean, a lot of it argue about the Amiga, but like I still, you know, I grew up in the ST, so. And my uncle had one, and he brought that down, and Atari Lynx and a few things. I even had like a birthday cake. Like, my mum was amazing at making birthday cakes, and she made an actual Mega Drive. I almost called it a Genesis. I'm being influenced too much by online media.
Sega Genesis, no, that's a Mega Drive. Refusing me.
Yeah, I've been watching too many American videos.
Don't do this to me.
Yeah. So anyway, I had this Mega Drive, and she made a 3D model of Sonic and everything on top. So like proper Mega Drive 2. It was amazing. I've got a picture somewhere. I'll have to find that, dig that up at some point. But we just got all these systems and that, and invited people over, and we just had like gaming going on in different rooms and co-op and that. And I always remember that was like amazing. And like one of the early games back then was Mortal Kombat 1. That, you know, that was.
I played that
like a
on
mature
Trilogy,
rated game. Like it's one of the first mature rated games that I really played. You know, to that sort of extent of violence at the time. You look at it now, you think, oh yeah, what's that? It's just a bunch of pixels on the screen. But it was quite intense at the time.
One of my first games, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, the original. Oh, right, so you used to play. Yeah.
The original trilogy.
The original.
With the bones falling down on the screen.
Yeah, but the original awesome. Mortal Kombat 1, we're talking, you know, on the Mega Drive.
I never played it on the Mega Drive though, so.
Yeah, it was a good game. And obviously, like, going on from there, I think there's another one, Eternal Champions. You won't know this game.
No.
It was another beat 'em up. It's quite cool. And that was another one that actually had like death moves and things in it. You know, it had individual character death moves and background ones. Like the only downside is obviously back then we had no access to the internet, so
no one knew.
Never know how to pull them off. But every now and again something had happened and you'd randomly like pull off a background move. I always remember there was a level with a big giant spinning fan in the background, and occasionally, if you just by pure luck, it'd be like very rare, but something had happened. You press a load of buttons at the end, and then suddenly you'd throw the character into the blades, and it's like split them up into pieces. And there was another one. I think the character was Trident. It's like this green guy with a trident, of course. And the level had like water. You were sort of stood on shallow water. And the death move of the stage was sort of some vines came up and dragged the body under the water, and this pool of blood would appear, you know, afterwards. There was another one, I think it was Xavier. he was like a sort of a warlock wizard character, you know, with a hood, and he had this staff. And there was a bonfire on his stage or something you could light, or something like that, some kind of really burning crops or whatever. But you throw them into the fire. But aside from that, like, it was most of the death moves, individual ones we never saw. You know, I saw years later online and stuff, but it was always one thing that back then you'd never be able to, like, you didn't have the information, you wouldn't be able to work that out.
That's one thing. I remember not having access to the internet as a kid, and even though it wasn't a co-op game playing one of the original Tomb Raiders on the PlayStation 1, and not being able to get past a certain level for the bloody life of me, and then passing the controller to my dad and saying, yeah, you do it, and then he couldn't do it, and no internet, you're stuck there thinking, shit. Well, you went out, you bought a bloody guide if you were a pussy, or you just soldiered on through it and stayed there for hours on end. We did a mixture of both. Pussied out, bought a guide after hours of not doing fuck all. But yeah, I understand the whole not having internet to do shit. I think internet made it a bit too easy.
Yeah, definitely. But going back to co-op, it's like I said, and as the years progress, you know, we had the PS1, playing games like Wipeout and stuff, which
Wipeout 2048.
Yeah, I've not played loads of it.
Bang.
But that was a pretty cool game, though, definitely. I actually, when I went to the Play Expo last year, we found a PS with like Wipeout on it, and I sat down and played it thinking it's going to be a bit awful, but it was amazing how easy I took back to the controls of it, and it was kind of like, it was really cool. Really got into it. It was when I was like, hang on, let's have another go. Hang on, let's not have another go. And then my mate who was with me, I'll have a go as well. And suddenly we're like an hour later, we're like, shit, we're still on this one game, you know. And they used to have multi-taps as well. You probably won't know what a multi-tap was. It is rather. A multi-tap is a device that allowed you to have more controllers in the system.
Yeah, I've seen it.
In the past, obviously, even the PS2 and that, you'd only have two inputs. So you would need what is known as a multi-tap to actually allow yourself to plug in four controllers.
Plug them in.
And again, I've done a lot of. It wasn't often that I did many of those kind of sessions because I never owned one. I never owned a multi-tap or anything like that. But when I went to uni, I used to play. What's it called now? It's a bit of a crap game really, but it's quality at the same time, like for comedy value. Chef's Love Shack, South Park, and it was on multi-tap on the actual
Chef is
PS1.
in. Who the fuck was it who played Chef?
South
He died. He died. The dude who played Chef.
Oh yeah, he did. What's it called? Forgotten now. People are like, whoever's listening to the show.
It ain't
like,
Bernie Mac.
Yeah, it's such and such a person.
It can't be Bernie Mac.
Do you know what? I'm gonna. We're gonna have to fight. We're gonna have to search. We're gonna have to search definitely.
Google will tell us the answer, for it always does.
Chef Love Shack. Yeah, we need to know. Let's see who can find out first.
Isaac fucking Hayes.
Isaac Hayes. Oh, you bastard.
Isaac Hayes. He was a musician, that fool.
Yeah.
He did some groovy ass shit.
Yeah, but he did chocolate salty balls.
Isaac fucking Hayes. Man was a legend, but
have you heard of the game? Chef's Love Shack.
Love this shack. That sounds a bit.
It's essentially a bunch of like mini games and stuff. Like they're all crap, and it's like you play one of the four main characters, isn't it? Yeah. Well, it is because it's a 4-player game.
So I'm guessing Cartman,
Kenny. What are the other two called?
Kyle. It's not Butters. It can't be Butters. There's another one.
We'll call him Stephen for the sake of the story.
Was it the Jewish one?
Yeah. So, you play one of the four.
Yeah.
And you're on like a game show, and the questions are ridiculous. They don't make sense, so you can kind of like mess up at any time. But every now and again, you've got like you are competing against each other. You've got a mini game that comes up, and you chase chickens around, or try and defend your snowman, or fly through the air and try and flap to the other end or something. It's a ridiculous game like that, but it's cool as like a competitive
party game.
Four-player party game. Oh, another one that's brilliant. Bishi Bashi Special on the PS1.
These sounds like pretty fucked up to me.
Bishi Bashi.
Bishi Bashi.
I got my entire family hooked on the game. I bought it for my sister because she had like one of the small PS1s, what they call PS1.
Oh yeah, I had one of those.
The really,
I didn't
really,
have
the roundish ones, you know.
Looked more of a circle.
Yeah,
than
it was
did a
like the
square.
last edition of the PS1s, and I bought a Bishi Bashi special, and it's based on 2 previous games. I don't know if they've on other consoles as well, whatever, but it was definitely PS1 games. But this was like a compilation of 2, like an older one and a newer one.
Jesus Christ.
And it was, I don't know if you've like seen there's a program called Banzai. It used to be on TV years ago. It's quite old.
Banzai.
Like early 2000s or something like that. But it was a game where you bet. And it was who's going to win a challenge. But it was ridiculous, like Japanese quirky challenges, like shake your hands, man. And he would shake some random celebrity while having an interview with them and see how long he can shake the hands for before they get pissed off and like shake him off them. You know what I mean? He's managed to get to 3 minutes.
That was like the precursor to Balls of Steel.
Stupid shit like that. But you'd have loads of games and they were ridiculous. Like one of the ones that cracked me up the most was like you had to eject. You was pushing a button as fast as you can. You have to eject the lead, the graphite from a mechanical pencil, and you had to see how many of them you could fully eject in a certain amount of time. And you're pressing a big hand on screen side, pushing this mechanical pencil as the graphite's coming out, and every time it drops out, a new one will appear. Like really, really ridiculous. There's another one where you've got to push buttons in time to music, and you grow an afro, and your afro gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
I like that game.
You know,
I like that game already. It has afros in it, man.
Yeah, and to the point where you cover the screen. But if you fail, it gets smaller again. So you can get to a stage where it's massive. But me being like quite rhythmical, meaning music, I'd usually be the one that's covering the whole screen. But
Look, me and my afro, baby.
I'll tell you what's a really good console for co-op as well. Dreamcast. I never got into this back when they first got released.
The Dreamcast.
But Dreamcast are they're designed for sort of arcadey experience games, you know.
Oh, the only game I proper played on the Dreamcast was a Soul Calibur. And to that day, fuck the Dreamcast, fuck the arcade stick I was playing on, and fuck the fucker I was playing against, because I never won a fucking game.
Yeah.
Seriously, this was when...
hang on, was that down to lack of skill of the controller?
Lack of skill.
Oh, right. The only reason why I say that is because
I
played a game called Space Channel 5. There's 2 of them. I don't know if you heard of them. They're again, rhythmic games. But for some strange reason, I found I couldn't get past the first stage. And no matter what you did, you could never win. And then I tried it with other people, and we realised all of us were doing the same thing. And it was only ages later that I realised it was like this shit controller wasn't picking up all the commands properly because there's sticky buttons, so it was impossible to do. In fact, I read a story about someone, again, it's another random story from a few years ago, how someone went up against someone else, and every year, without fail, they could never beat this other person. It was like my editor of a magazine or someone, until one day they realised it was the fucking controller he had the whole time that wasn't good, and I related to him. That was why I couldn't get past.
I was playing on an arcade stick when I was playing Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
One of the actual Dreamcast arcade sticks. It was like a green stick and green buttons, and first time ever using an arcade stick, and bloody hell, it was glorious. Yeah. But this was actually just before the PlayStation 3 got released, and we was playing on Dreamcast because, you know, fuck PS2s, fuck Xboxes, and your 360s. You can all be posh. We'll have a Dreamcast because Dreamcasts are cool, and it was the second introduction to fighting games for me, and that's why I love fighting games. They're really crap by itself, but if you've got people there, they're great.
And this is it. This is the kind of like the point of the show. I mean, we've not got a lot of time left, but ultimately the point of the whole show was to kind of bring some recognition over couch co-op, a local co-op, because it's something that's like a dying tradition. And what doesn't help at all, and it's something that really does my head in, is the fact that a lot of developers purposely don't support this. Now, I don't.
Halo
do you have your reasons why reasons behind this? Do you kind of like have any opinions on
I don't know.
you think this is?
I think it's bollocks because in a game like League where there's 5 people and it's not physically possible to do local co-op, I know people who have name drop a YouTuber, Trinimortal. I'm pretty sure he plays in a room with all his fucking friends there. It's still doable. Even if you have to play over the internet, it's still bloody doable. But developers make it hard for us. They don't make it bloody easy. It's like there was a Halo game released with no support for local co-op.
Yeah,
Sorry, but what the fuck you playing at? I don't know if it was Bungie who made it at the time or if they'd pulled back, but what the hell are you doing? Couch co-op is a massive thing to gamers. It brought social circles and interactions into gaming before we even had the bloody internet. Now that we've got the internet doesn't mean to do away with what once was. Come on.
But as I was saying, it feels like a lot of developers and probably, to be honest, it's not just developers, it's probably down to publishers as well, who will want all the purse strings of the whole thing, you know, and the direction. But to get them, I mean, I think it's partly down to forcing people to get online so that you're connected online. And
I know one reason, I think. Money.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It comes down to
buy
money.
2 fucking copies instead of 1.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, so by doing that, you
gotta buy multiple copies.
Exactly. But it can, what the sad truth of it is it comes down to money. And we are actually losing out the opportunity to play a lot of games. But then again, what it's doing now is it's creating almost like a gap in the market to start bringing that back, really. And there are games that obviously it's never going to die, but I really do think that it should be something that's reevaluated. I really do. Because I was playing about a year ago. I started playing a lot of games again with one of my mates, and we sort of got into some gaming and stuff, and we played Resistance on the PS3. Now, I really like those games, like first-person games, a bit like Halo, and I'm a fan of the first one. I do like it. I mean, the third one's a superior one. That's really good. I think people had an issue with the second one. I remember, it's been that long ago, I can't pinpoint too much about why I disliked it, but I know I didn't like the second one as much. But the first one, it had a local co-op on it as well. I've been through it solo, but I had a blast. I really enjoy that game. Put the second one on. No, you can't do it. You can play like co-op campaign, I think, but you have to be online, and it pisses me off. Something bad.
Bollocks, isn't it? It's absolute bullshit.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's kind of ruined my interest, like in that.
In the series, yeah.
Funnily enough, it was only recently that I was watching a video that I'd heard that this third one you can actually do local co-op, and I never knew that. I'm sure you can't do that, but I actually saw it online. I never knew about that. If they hadn't ballsed up the second one and decided to take that out, I'd have gone through the whole thing. But it's a bit of a kick in the ass, really, you know. So what I kind of, like, I mean, it was only recently I sent you a video, like, I can't remember who it was, like one of the mainstream sort of gaming channels, you know, that do the whatever top 10 this, that, and the other, like GameSpot or whatever. It was one of those. They did a sort of a 10-minute video highlighting the same problem.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's not, well, coming from where I am, with a MOBA it's kind of hard to get couch co-op going, but it's doable. With MMORPGs, no chance in fucking hell. With fighting games, it's the main thing.
Yeah.
You can play online, but nothing beats.
Yeah, obviously,
getting
not
together.
Everything is suitable for couch co-op.
But
I feel like there were examples, and that Resistance was an example of it, and it's been taken out of a lot of things since.
Definitely.
You go like Killzone this and or whatever, and
Call of Duty and.
I mean, don't Call of Duty? Did they still do it?
I'm pretty sure they still do it. They even, I think, they allow you to play online together now.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that they've done that because, yeah, you don't have a full screen real estate, but it's a laugh and a joke with your mates. At the end of the day,
yeah,
it's almost like they want us to become recluses and all stay in our own homes and play games and only talk over the internet. At the end of the day, you've got to get out of the house. You're going to meet up with people. Why not make gaming social again? I mean, the Wii hit the nail on the bloody head with Wii Sports. That shit was fucking hilarious.
Oh right, with the whole definitely with the controller.
That was like couch co-op and Kinect.
They highlighted the reason why it works. They're the epitome of the whole thing. Really, that brought together families. That's why they were so successful, because they made something that appealed to a wider audience, and it appealed to everything. But the main thing was it was families and friends getting together, playing together, and doesn't that show that there is a market for it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Still to this very day, I think I'm out tomorrow and one of us is taking a Wii, just for even when you're all pissed or whatever. It's fun. It's dumb as, but it's great. All you have to do, Mario Kart, great. House of the Dead or arcade shooters, hilarious. It's like it was like a perfect storm. Realistically, it was. I'm pretty sure Nintendo Wii has the highest grossing game on a single platform. I think it holds that record.
Yeah.
Because it was so good at what it did. But
so ultimately, like I said, we are planning on doing some couch co-op sessions, and that's what this is leading to. We want to do it. We want to help promote that and spread that
bring
word.
Back couch co-op.
Bring
hashtag
back
couch co-op.
Bring
it back, motherfuckers.
So what we've gone out and done, and I've had a problem for a while, and I'll explain why it's taken a bit long, well, quite a lot longer than anticipated. To do co-op, I needed a few bits of equipment, so we had to start thinking about things like
investment,
capture card.
Yeah.
So we've kind of looked into it, and I bought something called an Elgato HD60, which I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with who are into the game, and especially capturing themselves. It's a fairly newer capture card that's HD, but it's only HD, and that's where the problem came later, but I've got around that now. Quality's excellent. I know you've not seen any yet.
I've not actually seen any of this.
I did some test footage like a few days ago, and I'm happy with that. Everything seems to be going well. So we've got that. The other one was microphones, like how we're going to do that, because at the moment we're recording from a studio, and like I've got a condenser here that's permanently here, and you've got a dynamic mic that you're using it, and it goes into this setup that's permanently part of the studio. But the problem is I don't want to be taking this back to mine every time, so we've what I've done is I've gone and bought a couple of clip-on mics. They're from memory, they're called Boyer M1s. They're only like £15 each. They're not amazing quality, but they seem alright from what I've heard some tests of them. They seem okay, because you can get some lapel mics and that sort of thing are well expensive. Failing that, the only other, but it would have been expensive, would have been to use some, say, like headsets with mics in. You've not even got one of those.
I've got one.
Have you?
That's comfy as hell, but the thing is, it's closed back, which means
that ultimately that would be the best
anything.
option. But again, you'd want to get a couple of decent ones. But for now, we'll see how it goes anyway with these mics.
Definitely. So you will be seeing us uploading at some point.
And then on top of that, the main problem has been recording the PS3 footage.
Oh yeah, definitely. That was a fucker.
The problem with the PS3 is that they have this thing called HDCP encryption, which is an encryption in the data of the visual signal that appears in other things like
skyboxes use it. Loads of things use it,
and it's designed to prevent piracy. So if people want to record TV or they want to record a DVD or Blu-ray and capture it, the powers that be do not want you to be doing that, because that will make it easier to pirate. But the people who are going to pirate are going to get around it and do it anyway.
Exactly. Yar!
Whereas what we want to do is
bring
legitimate,
me eye patch,
and it's actually legal. Now, when the PS4 came out, they had the same HDCP encryption on them, but what they did is they allowed it to be patchable, and now it patched it, and I don't know why it was on there in the first place, I don't get it, but anyway, they patched it so you could switch it off, and now you can quite happily go about your business recording your footage. I
think it automatically enables when you're watching films. Problem
with PS3, it's hard coded into a chip, so you can't switch it off. So even though it's not illegal, it's impossible. The only way around it is to either record an analog signal. That would mean getting a different capture card. Now the Elgato do the previous model, Elgato HD, not the 60, because the 60 one
Records at 60 frames.
60 frames a second, which is what I wanted it for, especially if we were planning on doing some beat 'em ups, because that was one of the plans to do Street Fighter. Although you've only got we'd have to use a pad and a stick set for it. So like,
I play stick, you play pad, or you play stick, I
but
play
either,
pad.
either way, it's the whole point of it is a bit of fun for the channel, you know. So yeah, so the problem was with this HDCP encryption, and what would happen is you would record signal and get a black screen.
Yeah,
so
we tried, didn't we?
So the solution was to get a HDMI splitter box, which has to be powered, but what you do essentially is you put a HDMI cable from the PS3 into the splitter. You can split into two. One can go into the TV, the other one can go into the Elgato, and Bob's your uncle, except only certain boxes work. Now, I already anticipated this, and I even went online and I checked a video source of a kid from America, badly made video, but he did name drop it's called the Ore, which is a very good splitter actually, and it works fine, but it just doesn't strip the signal, so we just got a black screen. And I'd even read somewhere else that it works, and then it turned out that it's something it's a standard that needs to be enforced by the sellers at Amazon and places like that. So what's happened, rather the people who make it, yeah, it's becoming illegal to sell them with the ability to strip the signal. So they've started changing the model, so it's getting harder to do this. If you actually want to do this, something you want to do yourself, listening, realise that you've got to be careful. It's possible, but you've got to find the right ones. You want to look for some older ones. So I was a bit pissed off, you know. Fortunately, it only cost me £13, but I got this, and it was specifically an American model as well.
Yeah.
It was, so I had to get an adapter. Yeah. So once I got that, then the extra HDMI cables and all that. So we got that black screen, bit pissed off. But I went on to Amazon and I found another make. I forgot what it is, but I took a punt on it. It was £20, and based on some comments and that, I managed to see enough people say that it worked up to pretty much March or something this year. So that, I thought, yeah, you know what? If I stall on it any longer, it's never gonna get anywhere. So did it, and lo and behold, it worked, and I'm so happy. I'm really happy it's
Thank
working.
God.
So we've got all that.
So yeah, we should be recording soon.
Up and running. So hopefully, and what I want to do is to turn it into sort of a bit of a laugh, really. So we can play. I mean, what we could do is play a few games where it doesn't really matter about progress, but we could also start playing some sort of let's play games where we actually go through.
Yeah.
I mean, one that you were interested in, a game that I've got, Sacred 3.
Yeah, because I've not actually played it. I've heard everything bad about it and played Sacred 2.
Yeah, but it is actually a good game as well. Like,
I'm gonna go
regardless
into it
of what anyone
open-minded.
says, it is a good game. But we can maybe show that.
Oh,
on
definitely.
Screen. The only thing I've not got yet is a camera. I mean, although having said that, the camera, the laptop does work, but it's not the best. But I might at some point, if we can get this running and it gets alright, I might get a decent quality a decent quality camera. Because I have got a Nikon D3200. I was thinking, oh yeah, it'd be good to use that, but it's more pain in the ass than it's worth, and it only records 20 minutes at a time. But anyway, we're going. I think we're getting to the end, and it's like 48 minutes into it.
So we overrun a little bit, but it's still shorter than the majority of our shit, which is good. So probably cut it here, I'm gonna guess, and we'll get on to recording some gameplay footage soon.
So I expect some new videos. So hopefully, what I want to do, I want to keep these shows, these like
we'll
podcasts,
keep these, dude.
yeah, and to keep them running. But we'll be doing a lot more sort of visual stuff. And who knows? Like one day we might even appear on camera ourselves.
You get to see my ugly mug. You'll be happy, believe me.
This is down to Levi. Really, he's a bit scared of being on camera.
Nah, man. It's just, believe me, now one wants to see my hair. My hair is glorious.
Once you've been to the gym
shit.
a bit more and done a bit more swimming, which is what we need to be doing right now because we're well late. It's 9:15 at night and we're still in the studio.
Shit.
We need to go.
Right.
So anyway, on that note, I will bid thee farewell. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Aye, see you later, viewers. Stay tuned. More shit coming soon.
Tally ho.
Sayonara.